Hi, Mike.
Are we happy to roll?
We're live, yeah.
Man. Dave, how are you? It's good to see you. Everything's good?
Yeah, you too, Mike. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, good man. Dave, you recently made a 200th appearance for Munster. If you're involved this weekend with Ireland, I think it's approaching 50 caps, 46, I think. I mean, when you started all that while ago, did you think that you'd still be, did you think that you'd be where you are right now at the relatively young age of 33?
I suppose when you start out, you're not really thinking that far down the road of 200 caps and 45 with Ireland, but I've just been very lucky, over the years. I've been lucky through injury and to be part of a great team. So, I was delighted to make the 200 the weekend.
From an Ireland point of view, you haven't been involved since last July injury and everything like that. Now, rugby players are very competitive people. What is it? A kind of test of your mindset when you're not involved in a match day 23? The fact you have to keep yourself sort of at peak level, both in mind and body, in terms of being called on if you're needed.
100%. It's all mindset, especially when you're not involved. I've loved looking on and seeing how the team has progressed. You look at even from the summer and through November, the progression I thought has been incredible, and then on to the Six Nations again. It's just going from strength to strength, so you're desperate to be part of it and add to it. That's the competitive nature in everyone. You want to play every week. Obviously you're disappointed when you're not involved, but I think the younger me would have been, you blame other things rather than looking at yourself, and I think now it's about just focusing on getting better every day. And when you do get your opportunity, you take it, and you contribute as best you can to the environment and push the lads as hard as they can and get them ready for the weekend. And ultimately, I think that's actually what Faz has created in here. It actually doesn't matter who's playing the weekend, and I know that sounds a bit flawed, but it's about having the 23 involved as best prepared as they can be to give a great Ireland performance.
Can you talk about Italy and even the Italian teams in the United Rugby Championship? I mean, a lot of people talk about Italy and the fact they haven't won a match in the Six Nations for a period of time. But ultimately, they are one of the most dangerous teams. You've even seen that in terms of the way their teams have played in that United Rugby Championship as well.
Yeah, exactly. They start very well against teams. They put a lot of teams under pressure at the start. They've been unlucky with some results. So, we can only look at ourselves. I try not to look at other teams, but you look at yourself and trying to improve yourself and your team as best you can. Italy are on their own mission to try and get better, as are we. But yeah, they've look at someone like Monty Ione or Garbisi. They have these incredible players, and when it clicks for them, it really does. So you have to be really on point against them, and I think a good start against them is crucial.
Thanks, Dave. I hope you have a good week, man.
Thanks, Mike.
Hi Dave, Aisling here from Off the Ball. How are you?
Aisling, very good. You?
Good, thank you. You just spoke about progression there of this Irish team. What are the certain areas that you think in recent time they've really improved on?
In all areas, being honest. That's the thing with Faz. We're trying to push our boundaries here and just get better in every area. There's no room for complacency in this environment, and that's the beauty about it. Everyone pushes themselves. You look at even breakdown. That the contribution Paulie has made since he's come in. Around our maul, Cy and D, Fogs at scrum, and Caddy in our attack. It's I think every area has progressed, but I think there's more scope for progression, which is the really exciting thing. You look at the quality of players that are in the 23, and then you look at the quality of players that aren't in the 23, that are pushing every week, and players who are unfortunate not to make camp. So I think Irish rugby is in a very healthy state, but it's up to the lads who get chosen the weekend to keep pushing the boundaries that the coaches are asking them to push and give a performance that everyone knows in here we're capable of giving.
And you just spoke about there wanting to make that starting team, but you also have to have the right mentality while you're maybe on the sideline or pushing to get on to keep positive and all of that. How does that come with time and experience, or how do you get that mentality? Because I'm sure there is maybe younger lads there that are upset they're not starting.
Yeah, look, I think if you have that negative attitude and it's why me, you don't survive in this environment. You got to have. It's a very honest environment in here. Faz gives it you straight. It's all you can ask for as a player, and then it's up to you. There's no room for hanging your head here and poor me. It's about making yourself better to make the team better. You got to be coming in here bouncing. This is a place where it's a high energy environment, high octane. Everyone bounces off each other, and if you have a negative mindset in here, you're not going to survive, and that's the way it should be. There's no room for people moping around. It's prepare whoever is involved for the weekend, and hopefully you doing your job at training that gets you involved.
Brilliant, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, how are things? It's Bernard here at Virgin Media. How are you?
Yeah, very good, Bernard. Yourself?
Dave, good. Dave, I suppose it's that unique week, isn't it, in the Six Nations, where people don't just expect Ireland to win this week, but they expect them to win well. Can you speak a little bit about, I suppose, the added pressure that brings? That it's not just a win you're looking for this week. People are, talking about working on that points difference as well.
Look, we've mentioned every point is crucial, but we don't really look at results and scores. It's about performance and it's about process. It's about making sure our detail is right and that our energy levels are marred with that detail and that we give the best performance we can, and the score takes care of itself. You can't be looking at score. I think it has to be process driven, training based. How implementing what we're doing at training and seeing that coming into fruition on game day, that's where the real excitement is. Not really on scores. Hopefully we get a good score and we're on the right end of it, but it really is process driven and performance driven.
So you don't feel that extra pressure this week?
No. No more pressure than playing for Ireland any week. Any week you're playing for your country, it's about delivering as big a performance as you can. That brings its own pressure, and I think that's down to the player then, how well he handles pressure and how calm you can stay when there's pressure on, and staying calm and level-headed, and generally that leads to a good performance.
You mentioned there, Michael, the Italian performances, and I suppose where Italian rugby's at. I suppose the last game, 33-0 against England. Are they as bad as that scoreline suggests?
Me or Mike? Sorry.
Say again?
Oh, me. No, they're definitely not. Mike alluded to there. Their clubs have had some good performances. And they've had some good performances. I wouldn't just single out one game. As I said there, there's certain individuals on that team that are world class. Monty Ione is, as good a winger as round. You've Garbisi, you've a lot of world class players in there. So we won't be underestimating them. Again, we won't be looking at scores against England or things like that. We'll be looking at them as a real threat, and they're coming here to take a scalp, and we'll be as prepared as best we can.
That's a much better answer than Michael would have given me. Thanks a million.
Cheers.
Hi Dave, how's it going? Dave, just in general terms, the guys who do the media on the Tuesday are in the mix for the match day squad. How do you feel you're placed? I mean, has Andy said something to you about what he'd like to see when you went back to Munster or even in training? How are you fixed, or how are you feeling yourself about a place at the weekend?
Well, that's funny, because Andrew Conway said to me the opposite. He said, no, he's been doing media before and he wasn't involved, so I won't be taking that for granted. Yeah, look, as I've said, Faz is very honest with the players, both as a collective and individually. I've had areas I need to work on, and I'm trying to do that as best I can every day at training. You come in here and you try and get better every day, and the coaches are very honest with you in areas you need to get better, and it's up to you then. It's not criticism, I would take that as a form of, they obviously think you're capable of getting better if they're giving you that feedback. So it's how you choose to look at it. So it's up to the player then to work on what they've given you. So yeah, I've had work-ons, as most players in here have had, and I'm trying to get them better every day at training, and the coaches examine training here to the ninth degree, like, so it's a great environment.
See, your first cap came back, it's 10 years ago. Can you just tell me what the biggest difference in camp is now under Andy Farrell as it was under Joe Smith? What's the one thing you could say stands out immediately as the biggest difference?
Well, my first one was under Declan Kidney. He was
For the majority of it
under Joe. Yeah, look, I've been asked questions like this before, and every coach, has had different strengths and weaknesses. Even if you look at your Munster coaches, that I've had some incredible Munster coaches over the year. Dumper, Tony McGann, Rob Penny, Axel. Then you come in here, Declan Kidney, Joe. You can keep naming them, but I think it's taken the best pieces from all of them. These people don't get into those positions unless they're, of a certain caliber of person. They have to have incredible traits. Faz has, instilled an environment here, as I said, it's real positive. It's real honest with each other. It's about getting better every day. It's about helping your teammates. It's about helping the wider squad. It's not just the individual. It's making sure we're all pushing the boundaries together. So yeah, I think it's a bit unfair to compare one coach to another. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, but I'm loving the environment in here at the moment. I think it's a real positive place to play and to train.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck for the rest of the week.
Okay, folks, we're going to wrap up there. So we're going to try and get Johnny up and running as well. So thanks, Dave, and we'll be okay, guys. Up with Johnny Sexton. So this section will be radio, TV, online, live content, and the second section will be embargoed written word. Okay. So, Corky, do you want to kick us off?
I will, yeah. Thanks, David. Hi, John. Thanks for giving us your time again. Can I ask how your injury is right now and how you've spent the last kind of week and a bit and where you are fitness-wise this week ahead of the match?
Yeah, good to go, thankfully. Trained fully at the back end of last week, and then sort of did a day with the physios the day we played the 20s, and then trained fully again today and yesterday, and so yeah, good to go, thankfully.
When you look back upon the game against France a couple of weeks ago as a squad, the fact that you made a slow start in that game and got punished on the scoreboard early on, 10-0 down, was that something that you spoke about, maybe not trying to repeat specifically this weekend?
Yeah, of course, it's something that we spoke about. We spoke about the start of the game, and bouncing back from that, we did really well, but sort of not letting them get into that position in the first place was we spoke about it at length, but I suppose they're lessons that we need to learn, and I hope that we have, and we'll get better for it in the future.
When you look at the Italians, your opponents this week, how important is it that you don't look at their record in this competition? They haven't won a match for a while. That you still as sharp and as focused as you need to be, with such an important game in terms of the overall context of the competition.
Yeah, that's really where our focus has been. Our focus has been, of course, on Italy, because they're our opponents, and we give every opponent the respect, the equal respect, I should say, in terms of how we prepare. But then it comes a stage in the week where it's all about you and your performance and the team's performance, and that's very much where our focus is, because if you don't get your best performance out there, then you're not going to win. So all our focus is on that, really.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thanks.
Hi, Johnny. Aisling here from Off the Ball. Brilliant to hear that you're back fit. Just looking on from the France game, obviously your injury happened late in the preparation for that game. How did you think that Joey done in mentally preparing for that last minute and his performance overall?
Yeah, I think, I pulled out early on the Wednesday, and I was hoping it wasn't too bad, but we went for a scan and it was bad enough to rule myself out of the game. And but we've been, swapping in and out all the time, and but I thought he did well. And to always get called in late, it's always tougher, I suppose. He would have been preparing the same anyway, knowing him. He's a very good professional, and always does his prep right. So I don't think it would have affected him too much. But he was he was composed on the day and did well. And it's good for him, having a tough time with injury to get back, and he's played a few games now in the summer, and then Argentina and France, so he's getting, I suppose, those games in the international arena under his belt, and he'll only be much better for it.
And for you personally, was it tough to watch on from the sideline in Stade de France?
Yeah, of course. Like, I'm not the best spectator, and this game was particularly tough. I suppose it was a game I almost had in my head for the last 2 years, based on what happened there previously, and I thought that I was in a great place to go and put that to bed and put those demons to bed, and look, bad timing to pick up the small injury like I did, but look, there was some great learnings for the team in there, and but it was tough. It was definitely tough to watch. Yeah.
Thanks, Johnny. Best of luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Johnny, how are things at Bernard here in Virgin Media?
Hi.
How are you, Johnny? Joey spoke to us, I suppose, the last 2 weeks about just what you're doing for his game and what being around you means to him. He also said last week he obviously wants to hold on to the jersey this week. Just the other way around, what does that competition from Joey, as somebody who wants to beat you to the jersey, I suppose, this weekend, do all he can to beat you to the jersey this weekend? What does that competition do for you?
Look, I'm well used to competition. Like, I've had it my whole career. Like, whether it was early doors with Ronan O'Gara and Felipe, in Ireland and in Leinster, and then when you get the jersey, then you have always someone else that you're competing with over the years, like Ian Madigan, Ian McKinley, Paddy Jackson, Joey, obviously, for the last, like, Joey's been around a long time. I think he's been he's 26 now, so I've been used to it for the last 5 years. So it's nothing new, really. Like, it's nothing's changed for me. What's important to me is to make sure that I suppose I prepare as best I can. I there's no point in worrying too much about what other people are doing. It's you got to concentrate on yourself, and that's what I've always tried to do. Of course, I respect all other 10s in Leinster. I've got great competition with the 3 guys there, and so it's nothing new. But like I said, you just have to focus on yourself and make sure that you're fit and firing when you do get the chance to play.
You mentioned that they're just focusing on the Irish performance this week, not worrying too much about Italy. What are the work-ons following that France game in terms of what's to come in this tournament? Italy this weekend, then 2 massive games to finish the tournament.
Look, there's lots of things to work on across all parts of our game. So it's not one thing that let us down against France. It was sort of small things throughout a lot of areas, and we've spoke about them more. Last week we spoke about them, and this week's about trying to rectify them and then just concentrate our performance and make sure we play much better against Italy and get the result that we need.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks.
Moreno, do you want to jump in there?
Thank you so much. Good morning, Johnny from Rome. Just one question. You played 10 times in your career against Italy with 2 World Cup pool deciders in 2011 and 2015. Have you seen any difference in the growth of rugby in Italy? Where can you place Italy now? And if you have seen maybe something different in the last few months with Kieran Crowley? Thank you.
Yeah, I've always been really impressed with any team I've played against, with Kieran Crowley as coach, with Treviso, Canada at the previous World Cup, and now Italy, and yeah, you can see some of the improvements they've made already, in the first 2 games, and I think obviously, look, it's clear they're in a little bit of transition, as is every time that you get rid of one coach and bring in another. It takes time to bed down ideas and to get everyone to buy into them and be good at them. So they are in a little bit of that, but I think we've seen big improvements compared to where they were last year, and we are very mindful of some of the very good individuals they have throughout the team, and we're giving them the full respect they deserve in terms of how we're analysing and preparing this week.
Thank you so much. See you on Sunday.
Thank you.
Hi Johnny, how's it going? Johnny, was that injury that you suffered, were you running in training or twisting, or do you know how you picked it up exactly?
Yeah, I was running, yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of your preparation and recovery now, age 36, is that different than it was a few years ago and at the start of your career? Do you have put extra emphasis on warming up and warming down and recovery when you're not on the training pitch?
Yeah, of course. It's something that I suppose, as an older athlete, if you want to call me that, or a rugby player, you need to look after yourself well and better. And I don't think I could have done much different in terms of my preparation or warm up or whatever. Just one of those things. I maybe was carrying a knock from the Wales game that I was trying to train with that could have had a bearing, but you just don't know for sure. Anyway, it was a minor enough thing. I bounced back well from it, thankfully, and I've had some good training at the back end of last week and then fully today with the lads, and got some kicking in as well back end of last week and early this week. So in a good place now and fit for selection.
Smash, Johnny, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we might move on to the embargoed written word section now.